Okay, so today we're continuing on after Pesach, the Tefillah Shiur. We're up to the bracha of Asher Yatzar, with a brief introduction that someone told me recently that he had a shaila in Asher Yatzar, if he had to say Asher Yatzar. So he met someone coming out of the bathroom and he asked him, could you be mitzvah me with the bracha of Asher Yatzar? And the person said, I don't like doing those things, which you don't have such a disinterest in doing those things unless you're really not confident that you know Asher Yatzar by heart. So even though as a little kid we all learn Asher Yatzar by heart, but as we get a little older kids and as we get even into adulthood, sometimes the words get swallowed up and sometimes even skipped. So we have to be careful, Taka, to know how to pronounce and how to say all the words of Asher Yatzar. And today we'll learn in Mitzvah Hashem what it means, and hopefully we'll be able to say Asher Yatzar with the proper havara and with the proper kavana. So the bracha starts, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher yatzar es ha'adam b'chachma. That Hashem created and formed a person b'chachma. Now there are really three pshatim in this line that Hashem created a person b'chachma. The simple pshat is Rashi's pshat. Rashi in the Gemara in Brachas Taf Samach Amid Beis, which is where this bracha appears, Rashi says that it means Hashem created a human being with chachma gedola, as the bracha is about to explain that there are nekavim and chalulim, all the genius and the intricacies within the human body, that the bracha is going to discuss part of it. That is the chachma that we referred to in the first line. Asher Yatzar es ha'adam b'chachma, the chachma that as follows, that we're going to say that there are nekavim and chalulim and all the different details and intricacies, as we said, in the human body. Tosfos says that that's not what the pshat is. Tosfos over there in Brachas Tav Samach says, when it says Asher Yatzar es ha'adam b'chachma, what it means is not the chachma that's within the human body, but the fact that Hashem created the human being after He created all his needs. After Hashem created the fruits and vegetables, after Hashem created the wheat and the barley, then came the human being, the chronology of creation, of the Bria, that a human being was created already after he had all his needs in place. That is the chachma that this line is referring to, and Tosfos learns it from a Medrash Tanchuma, because the Medrash Tanchuma in the very beginning of Bereshis, it says, Vayivra Elokim es ha'adam, so the Medrash says, Amar Rebbe Boin, b'chachma. That Hashem created a person b'chachma. What's b'chachma? Shehiskin mizaynaisav v'achakach beroi. First Hashem prepared the mizaynais of a person and then created him. And if the lashon of the Medrash Tanchuma is that that's b'chachma, so Tosfos says, so then that's the pshat in this bracha, that Hashem created a person b'chachma after the creation of all the mizaynais and all the needs that a human being is going to need in this world. But the Marsha says a different pshat. The Marsha is not a Rishon, but as we'll see in a moment, he was mechaven to Rishonim. But the Marsha in that Gemara and Brachas suggests a different pshat. Asher Yatzar es ha'adam b'chachma, according to Rashi and Tosfos, is going on the chachmas haboirei, the chachma of Hashem. What was the chachma? Either the intricacies in the human body, or b'chachma that Hashem created a person after He created the mezainis of a person. The Marsha says maybe b'chachma koi al ha'adam. It means that Hashem created a person with wisdom. That Hashem gave a person the chachma. Loikein b'shar ba'alei chayim shaloi niten lahem chachma. When Hashem created a dog, so it has a little bit of understanding to know how to survive, but it doesn't have chachma, it doesn't have wisdom and knowledge. So Hashem created a person, and that's what we're thanking Hashem for in this line, that He's Yatzar es ha'adam b'chachma. I say that the Marsha is mechamed to Rishonim because there's a Rishon that's printed on the Rambam, in the newer Rambams, in the Frankel Rambams, in Hilchas Tefillah, Perek Zayin Halacha Hey, there's a pirush of Rabbeinu Manayach. Rabbeinu Manayach is one of the Rishonim. He wrote a sefer called Sefer HaMenucha, but now it's printed as a pirush on the Rambam. And there he says that the pshat is, he says he's bothered. What does it mean Hashem created with wisdom? If it's going with wisdom on Hashem, he brings the pasuk in Baruch Nafshi, that's Tehillim Kuf Dalet, pasuk Chav Dalet. Kulam b'chachma asisa. Anything Hashem created was b'chachma. Hashem created the mountains b'chachma. Hashem created every bird with chachma. So why do we say Asher Yatzar es ha'adam b'chachma? So he says, no, the pshat is b'chachma pirish b'seichel, that Hashem gave a person seichel, shebo yakir techunas briyasai, that a person has the seichel to understand the chachma in his creation, v'hachesed shanasa lo, and to understand the ongoing kindness that Hashem does for us. So klar, the Rabbeinu Manayach learns like the Marsha that the chachma that we're referring to is that Hashem gave the person chachma. So there's two basic pshatim, is the chachma referring to the chachmas Hashem or the chachmas Adam, but the two versions of the Chachmas Hashem is the Rashi and Tosfos, that it's the Chachma within the body or the Chachma of creation after the Mezainos, and then the Marsha and Rabbeinu Manayach say that we're going on Asher Yatzar Asa Adam b'Chachma, that Hashem gave the person the Kayach of Chachma to understand everything that was created in him and to understand the world around him. Then the bracha continues, which again, according to Rashi, is an explanation and elaboration on b'Chachma. And according to Tosfos and Rabbeinu Manayach, this is now a new point. Uvaravai, Hashem created within a person nikavim, nikavim, chalulim, chalulim. Or better said, nikavim, nikavim, chalulim, chalulim. And what are nikavim? Nikavim are holes. And chalulim are also hollow places, but the idea of a halal is a hollow cavity that's enclosed, whereas a nekev is a hole. Rashi in Bracha says that it's not just talking about the place where a person goes to the bathroom. That's obviously why we say it after a person goes to the bathroom, Asher Yatzar, but it's referring also to the mouth and to the nose. Any holes in a person's body that's supposed to remain open, that's included in the kavim. And chalulim is the hollow cavities within a body. Rashi says the lave, the keres, and the me'ayim, that's the heart and the stomach and the intestines. All these things have opening and cavities, but they are enclosed. And on that, Rashi says that's what the bracha means when it says she'im yipaseach echad mehem, if one of the chalulim, which is supposed to be enclosed, if someone's lining of his stomach suddenly opens up and everything will come out, so then he's Yevshar Liskayim. And when it says Oyi Sasei Mechel Mehem, that's referring to the nekavim, the mouth and the nose, or if a person needs to go to the bathroom and his nekavim are closed up, so then of course Yevshar Liskayim. So that's what we're referring to when we say nekavim, nekavim, chalulim, chalulim. The Tur in Arachayim Siman Vav, which is the siman that goes through the bracha of Asher Yatzar, he says that the word chalulim is the gematria of 124. Right? If you cheshbon the word, the lamed, and mem is 100, and the yud ches is chai, that's 18, and another vav, that's 124, or however you calculate gematrias. So chalulim is gematria 124, and if it says chalulim twice, so that equals 248. So the Tur says that that's a remez to all the ramach evarim within a person's body. And the Vilna Gaon has a sefer on brachas called Imrei Noyam, and on that Gemara in Brachas Tav Samach, the Vilna Gaon brings this gematria of the Baal HaTurim, and he says it's not just a remez. The chalulim is gematria 248. The reason why Chazal instituted to say the nusach twice, to say chalulim twice, is to hint to the 248 evarim, because really each limb has some sort of hollowness in it. Even kol sara v'sara, he says any hair, any part of the body has a certain cavity, a certain openness that is necessary for its existence and for it to fulfill its purpose. And therefore when we say chalulim, we don't say it once, we say it twice to be meramis to the 248 evarim within a person's body. That's included in chalulim. And we have today the pirish on the Siddur of the Rebbe of the Ramban, who is the Ri Bar Yakar, Rabbi Yehuda Bar Yakar, and he says mamish this vart of the Baal HaTurim with the Haisafa of the Vilna Gaon. He says, Yesh garsim chalulim shtei pa'amim. Some are gairis chalulim twice, which is our gersa. He doesn't like the gersa, but he says, according to the Shita, that is gairis chalulim twice, oile ramach evarim, it's the gematria of Ramach, Reish Mem Ches 248, Ramach Evarim, ulekach nichbal, and therefore you say it twice in order to go to be meramis on all the Evarim. Va'agav shehutzrach lichbal chalulim kafal nekavim. The reason that we say it twice is because of chalulim to get to that gematria, because we're being meramis really all the Evarim, like the Vilna Gaon says, that it's not just the gematria that's meramis, but that's gufa why we say the word twice. And once we say chalulim twice, so then we say nekavim twice, just to be in sync. So that's what we say, uvaravai nekavim, chalulim, and then we say goli v'yadua lifnei chisei chevaydecha, that it's goli v'yadua in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as we just explained from Rashi, she'im yipasech echad mehem, if one of the chalulim were to be open, or oyisasei mechad mehem, if one of the nekavim were going to be closed up, then iyaf shar liskayim v'lami lefanecha, we would not be able to exist. So it's an interesting lashon. Galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chavaydachav. Of all brachas, instead of saying the standard lashon, the more conventional lashon, galui v'yadua lefanecha, we say galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chavaydacha, and the Rishonim are oimer on it. Why dafka over here do we say this nusach to Avrohom, and Rabbeinu Manayach in the piece we mentioned before discusses this. Why do we mention suddenly the kisei hakavod when we say Galav Yadua Lefnei Chisei Chaveidecha in Asher Yatzar? But the Vilna Gaon, I want to say over from the Vilna Gaon in that Sefer Imrei Noyam in Brachas Taf Samach, he says a fascinating insight, and that is that this is coming la'afuke, the people who hold that Hashem created the world, but He's such a lofty God, as a lofty being, whatever we would describe HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that He doesn't get involved in the menial tasks in this world. He's involved in battles and kingdoms and the sun and the moon and the galaxies, but He's not involved in every human being when he goes to the bathroom. That hashkacha pratis on kol prat to prat, every detail of this world, Hashem doesn't lower Himself to get involved with and to oversee. So we believe not like that, because we know that there's hashkacha pratis in every single aspect of this world. So Golav Yadua Lefnei Chisei Chaveidecha, we dafka use the lashon of the highest Shmei Merayimim, that the kisei hakavod, whatever is right underneath the Shechina Kaviyachol, it's Golav Yadua all the way up there. She'im Yipasei Chacham Mehem, that the pashat, the menial task of going to the bathroom, that also Hashem takes care of and Hashem oversees. So that's why specifically over here we mention like the highest level, the kisei hakavod, to show that every detail is watched from the loftiest of places, from the Rebbeinu Shalom Himself, and nothing is, so to speak, beneath the Rebbeinu Shalom. Everything is within His protection and oversight, and that's what we thank Hashem. After a person uses his needs to go to the bathroom, that Galav Yadua Lefnei Chisei Chaveidecha, up to the kisei hakavod, She'im Yipasei Chacham Mehem, O Yisasem Echam Mehem, Efshar Liskayim, there's no way we'd be able to exist, V'lamid Lefanecha, and stand in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Now it's interesting that some people add the expression, Afilu Sha'achas, even one Sha'ah. But the Avrohom, when he's mefarish this bracha, he brings from the Maharam Rutenberg, who's the Rebbe of the Rosh, that the Maharam Rutenberg says, She'ein loymar afilu sha'achas. You shouldn't say that expression, afilu sha'achas. You should just say, Efshar liskayim v'lamoid lefanecha. And then you end off with the bracha. Why shouldn't you say afilu shachas? Sharei adam soisem is piv harbe sha'is v'yachal lichyos. It's not true. If I close one of my openings, if I close my nose, if I close my mouth, even for many hours, I could still exist. So you can't say afilu shachas. It means if it would be closed permanently, then a person wouldn't be able to exist. But afilu shachas you shouldn't say. And the Mishnah Brura, interestingly, in Siman Vav, Sivkat and Gimel, says that is our minig. Our minig is not to say the words afilu shachas. But there are many who do say afilu sha'achas, not like the Mishnah Brura, and that really comes from the Arizal. The Be'er Heitev and other Paiskim bring that the Arizal says that you should say afilu sha'achas, and the Mechaber in the Shulchan Aruch explains that nusach. And you have to know this, if you do say the words afilu sha'achas, what the word means, the Shulchan Aruch says that it's not referring to now. If we would close our mouth for 1 second, for one shah, then we wouldn't be able to exist. What it means is b'shas leida, when a baby is born, so the mouth is closed when the baby is in his mother's womb, and then when he comes into this world, he has to open up his mouth that first second, and if Hashem would make it that the mouth of the baby would not open up at that moment, then the baby would not be able to get sufficient oxygen, and he wouldn't be able to breathe, he wouldn't be able to live. So we're talking specifically about the mouth and that nekev, not all of them, but the imi pasech echad mehem. If one of them, if it would be nistam, even one nekev, which is the mouth, and it means at that moment b'shas leida afilu sha'achas, then a person would not be able to exist. And we just have to be madgish that the word sha'ah in this nusach doesn't refer to an hour of 60 minutes. Sha'ah many times in Chazal means a moment, a point in time. In the Sefer Baruch Sha'amar over here, which is Rav Baruch Halevi Epstein, the one who wrote the Chumash Torah Tamima, he points this out. He brings many rayas, kedarkoi, that the word Shah sometimes means a rega, and his best raya is from the Gemara in Brachas, Tav Zayin Amud Aleph, where the Gemara says that Hashem gets angry every day, a rega. Mamish kama zamo, how much is the zam of Hashem? A rega, one rega. And the Gemara says an expression there, ve'ein adam yachal lechavin oisa shah. And no one knows exactly when that shah is. Well, that shah can't mean 60 minutes, because it just said that the zam of Hashem was a rega. So a lot of times you have this The word sha'ah just means a point in time, but al kalpanim, when it says in the bracha that either it means if it's a long period of time or permanent, then a person couldn't live if his nekavim were closed and his chalulim were open. But if you say the nusach like the Shulchan Aruch, like the Arizal, afilu sha'achas, so then it means that moment of birth, and it doesn't just mean a sha'ah, it means even a rega achas. If the mouth would not open when a baby is born, then he would not be able to hiskayim v'lamid lefanecha. And the chasim of the bracha is Baruch Atah Hashem, Roifei Chol Basar. Hashem heals all basar. And again, you don't say this when you go to a doctor. You say this every day when you go to the bathroom. And that's the Shulchan Aruch himself explains in the name of the Avrohom that a person going to the bathroom is a refuah l'chol basarai. Because if he wouldn't be able to be mitzi the psilas, if he wouldn't be able to get rid of the waste, then it would poison his body. I know of specific situations where the makeh b'patish, what made a person be nifter, was based on complications in the body. The body was not able to get rid of the wastes, and the wastes got clogged up in the body and poisoned the whole blood system, and the person couldn't continue to live. So of course, when we go to the bathroom, when we say that Hashem is roifei chol basar, we're not talking about the roifei chaylim, we're not talking about the people who are sick in bed. What we mean is us, that Hashem is roifei chol basar by allowing us to go to the bathroom. Umafli and Hashem does a pella. Hashem does a wonder. Now, what wonder? Hashem does many wonders. He did Kriyas Yamsuf, we just spoke about over Pesach. What wonders are we referring to in the end of the bracha of Asher Yatzar? So here Rashi and Taisus agree that Rashi and Taisus in Brachas Tav Samach. And they say that the pella that we're referring to is that usually when there's a container holding something, if that container is full of holes or cracks, so then the contents of the container will spill out. That's obvious, the way it works in this world. Here Hashem put our neshama into our guf, and our guf is full of nekavim and chalulim, as we just mentioned, and the neshama stays in there until Hashem takes it away. So that pella that Hashem is shemer, the nefesh, the neshama, inside our guf that is full of nekavim, that is the mafli lasis that we should have in mind when we end off this bracha. The Ramah says a different shot. He suggests Lulei Divrei Rashi and Taisus. The Ramah says that it could be the etzem idea that Hashem is kosher davar ruchni bedavar gashmi, that Hashem puts a neshama in a guf. If you think about it, it's mind-boggling. Our guf is flesh and bones. Our guf is something physical. And what does Hashem put in it? A neshama, a chelek elikam imal. So how could you put a spiritual thing doesn't have a shape, doesn't have a form in this world? So what does it mean that Hashem put a neshama inside a guf? So the Ramah says before the nekuda that our guf has holes in it and the neshama doesn't leak out. But how could Hashem combine these two unlike things, a guf and a neshama? That itself is a pella that Hashem does in this world, and that's the mafli lasos. The Ramah in his Sefer Darki Moshe on the tour in Sivkat and Beis is ma'arich about that, and over there he says Val kain tiknu loimar miyarach habracha zu birchas elakai neshama. Right afterwards we say elakai neshama, because we talk about elakai kama neshama shenasatabi. We're talking about the neshama shenasatabi. That was the mafli lasos that we just mentioned. The fact that there's a neshama inside of a guf. Of course, that it's not more meduyik than according to Rashi and Taisus. Rashi and Taisus are also saying that it's referring to the neshama, but specifically the aspect that the neshama doesn't leak out, and according to Rashi and Taisus, it's more meduyik that it belongs in the brach of Asher Yatzar itself, because we're talking about the nekavim, and we're saying even so, the neshama doesn't leak out, but according to the Ramah, it's not the nekuda that the neshama doesn't leak out of the holes of the guf, but it's the etzem fact that Hashem is kosher, a davar ruchni, in a davar gashmi, that we as gufim in this world, physical bodies, are able to have a neshama inside us. That is the kavana of umafli lasos, according to the pshat of the Ramah. Okay.